Hey everybody, Pat Cleary back again with another edition of the NAPEO News Studio. I got my NAPEO fleece on. The weather's turning a little colder here in Washington, D.C. But anyhow, we want to update you on a lot of things going on around here at NAPEO. First and foremost, an update on NAPEO Gives Back. Second of all, we'll update you on the joint employer rule just out from the National Labor Relations Board, a proposed rule. And finally, we've got a bunch of new ads and videos that we released at our conference. Those of you who were there saw it, and those who weren't there, we'll see it soon. So we'll kick off with the update on NAPEO Gives Back. Melissa Viskovich, our COO, has honchoed that for the last couple of years to great success, but I won't steal her thunder. So let me turn it over to Melissa. Take it away.
We just returned from Palm Springs from NAPEO's 2022 conference, where NAPEO members gathered for education, networking, and great times with friends in a beautiful resort. NAPEO's members also came together and raised nearly $200,000 through NAPEO Gives Back for the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. The rescue mission provides essential services to homeless and the most vulnerable citizens in the Coachella Valley surrounding Palm Springs. NAPEO Gives Back is the brainchild of former NAPEO chair Baron Gus. Baron's passionate about giving back to his community. He does so personally and through his PEO, Simplicity HR by Altrez. Baron seeks to harness the power of many to give back to the communities that NAPEO visits through our annual conferences. Each year, we select a community in the area where our conference is held with a goal of leaving them better than we found them. Since 2019, when the program was hatched, NAPEO Gives Back has donated more than $465,000 to causes in San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas, Marco Island, Florida, and now Palm Springs, California. Most people start or end their day with a nice warm shower. It's a habit and a luxury that we take for granted. This is not the case for the homeless living in the deserts of the Coachella Valley in California. For them, they might go days or weeks without a safe, clean place to get cleaned up. The Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, through their mobile outreach program, brings showers, food, clothing, and other essential items to the homeless in the desert. These are people who might be reluctant to seek help at a shelter or to leave their camps. These guys deliver more than a shower. They deliver dignity, hope, and friendship. Thanks to the generosity of our members through NAPEO Gives Back, the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission can now deploy a second shower unit to expand their mobile outreach services. They'll also use the proceeds to fund food donation services to help seniors, families, and others facing food insecurity in the region. A big thank you to all the members who donated this year. Also like to thank Baron, Clay, and our NAPEO Gives Back committee, and finally to Scott Wolf and his team at Coachella Valley Rescue Mission for being great partners to NAPEO this year. Stay tuned for 2023. We'll be selecting a nonprofit organization in the Denver area to work on for next year's campaign. If you'd like to get involved, drop me a quick email, melissa@napeo.org.
Thanks, Melissa. Next, we'll turn to an update of the joint employer rule. As elections go back and forth, as the occupant of the White House changes, the National Labor Relations Board has shifted its view on the joint employer rule. And this is no exception this year. The Biden National Labor Relations Board has put out a proposed rule covering the joint employer. So with that, let me ask our General Counsel, Nick Capiotis, to provide us with an update. Nick?
On September 7th, the National Labor Relations Board issued its proposed final rule changing joint employer status back to the analysis under Browning-Ferris. Browning-Ferris is a case from 2015 where around 200 employees of a staffing agency sued the staffing agency alleging violations of the National Labor Relations Act and included Browning-Ferris as a joint employer. When the board ruled for the employees, it found that Browning-Ferris was a joint employer, in part simply because the company had a contractual reservation of a right of direction and control, even though it never exercised that right of direction and control. This ruling at the time was very troubling to PEOs since, as you might know, PEOs have the requirement under many of their licensing statutes to reserve a right of direction and control. Therefore, under the Browning-Ferris standard, PEOs would almost always be a joint employer. Fortunately, in 2020, a more conservative NLRB issued a final rule overturning the Browning-Ferris standard and establishing its own standard, which was that the employer or the party being alleged to be a joint employer would have to have direct an immediate control over the workplace and not simply a reservation of a right. Unfortunately, now the NLRB is more back shifted towards a pro-labor makeup, and so they have issued this new final rule, bringing us back to the days of Browning-Ferris and the imputed joint employer liability simply by reserving a right of direction and control. The good news here is that the NLRB only controls items related to the National Labor Relations Act. In other words, items such as unionizing and collective bargaining. Those areas typically don't touch the PEO industry directly, although some PEOs may do union clients. However, the real concern is that this standard would expand past the NLRA and into other areas such as the Fair Labor Standards Act or Title VII, which could really change the dynamic of liability for PEOs. At this time, there's not really much for NAPEO to do other than monitor the progress of the proposed rule and to keep our ear to the ground to see whether or not it is expanding outside of the realm of the NLRA and NLRB. In the past, NAPEO has submitted comment letters detailing our concerns with expansion of joint employer and how PEOs might unfairly get caught in the new definitions. And we would certainly do that again if this expanded to the purview of the Department of Labor. NAPEO is closely monitoring these developments and will keep our members informed as they progress.
Thank you, Nick, for that update, and we'll continue to keep you all apprised of developments on the joint employer rule as it becomes final and as it rolls out. So finally today, we want to talk to you about our new ads and videos. We unveiled them at our conference. They were very well received out there. The ads follow on the good idea, bad idea theme that we hatched earlier this year. And then there is a video or two about why you need a PEO where they were able to get yours truly out of my shell and get me on camera. So that's always a tough job, as you can imagine, but Carrie Marshall was able to do it. So let me call on Carrie and let her update you on our new content, our new video and ads. Carrie?
By now, you're probably pretty familiar with NAPEO's Good Idea, Bad Idea ad campaign that we started running a few months ago. It's really been successful so far and is having a big impact. Traffic to NAPEO's Find a PEO website has already more than doubled in the few months that we've been running the ads. So we're really excited to now have a whole new tranche of ads to start running, 9 to be exact. Take a look. The next thing I'm excited to show you is our new series of videos on why a business needs a PEO, whether it's the really complicated overtime rules or the many different employment regulations in the states. I think these videos could be used on member websites, maybe even in your prospect marketing, and definitely on your social media channels. Here they are.
Why do you need a PEO? Well, if you're a small business and you've got a bunch of employees, do they qualify for overtime or don't they? Are they exempt or not exempt? Well, I got a very handy-dandy reference from the United States Department of Labor. So here's what it says. Compensated on a salary basis, you must be managing the enterprise, you're managing customer office or non-manual labor. Got that? No? Me either. So either take the time to master all those regulations, they don't make sense to me, or find a PEO.
You can find these ads and videos that I've just shown you, as well as a lot of additional marketing resources at napeo.org/newstuff. Make sure you check it out.
Thanks, Carrie, and that will wrap it up for this edition of NAPEO News Studio. Tune in for the next edition when we will cover the PAC, an update on that, and we'll talk about our financial ratio survey and other good stuff going on around here at headquarters. By then, I'll probably be wearing a heavy winter coat and a big heavy hat, but we'll see you then. Thanks.